Hey Zods, today we're going to talk about Pokemon investing in general. And there's lots of videos out there like these are the 5 best ways, these are the 10 best ways for Pokemon investing, or whatever. Most of it is very relevant and useful, but what is the most important? And sometimes it may be different for everyone. But from my perspective, over time, since I've started for investing in Pokemon for a couple of years, I've come to realize that probably the most important one is patience. You could also call it discipline. But yeah, really, in terms of investing, just like the word investing implies, it's generally long term. It's not a short term thing. And I think with younger people these days, and maybe older generation, but probably more towards the younger generation, is they don't have that much patience. They want instant gratification. They want to make gains instantly within a very short period of time, even just in a day. And that is why if they want to buy something, they want to flip it quickly to make a quick gain. And that's just quite difficult these days. Yes, you can be very successful at it if you know what you're doing. But for the vast majority of people out there, it's not really going to be working in the long term. And what you realize is once you make a terrible decision, you probably, there's a high likely chance that you'll just hate the hobby, hate the investment, and just give up and just blame everyone else. So to me, patience and discipline is something that probably needs to be worked on, and I suffered from it early on. Not to say I have mastered patience or discipline. I'm still on my journey. I'm not really a successful investor at all, just someone who's been in this journey for some time and starting to learn a bit, but definitely still in the beginner phase. And yeah, let me just show you a few examples of why patience and discipline really pays off. It's kind of very similar. So patience really comes. Let's take a look at Celebrations UPC. This is probably the most recent good example of it. And that is, if you were to look at Celebrations UPC as a product, you'll recall when it first came out, 2021, it was hyped because there was 2 metal cards in it featuring the base set Pikachu and base set Charizard. I mean, it was the first official metal cards, and everyone went crazy for it. And the UPC took a very short period of time, it just went up a lot. And I think at one stage it was $200 and then went to $400 very quickly. However, what happened afterwards was, over time, it didn't make any moves. It just stayed in that 400, maybe dropped a bit to 300 something, and then stayed in that 400 region for a very long time, until recently. Unfortunately, this is the chart I can only get. I mean, if you have other paid subscriptions, you probably can look at a longer history. But what happened over here is, if you look at this year, right? Year back, it was 339, 334, 351, and it's starting to climb up. People are saying, oh, okay, 30th anniversary is coming. So that's why it's slowly rising. And then, boom, 478, 500. People thought, that's probably where it's going to sit until we get to the 30th anniversary, which is February of next year. But then, to everyone's surprise, it jumped from 500 to 800 in just a matter of a month. You could put it 2 months, 3 months. In a month, it has moved 16%. In 3 months, it has moved 71%. In 6 months, it has moved 88%. So you can see that in the past 3 months, it has just completely went crazy. That's 71%. And even we've seen sales for $8.99 two 899s, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it at 1,000 very soon. And once news of the 30th anniversary comes out, I would not be surprised to see this product over 1,000. And that's just patience. You had to keep the product from 2021 up to 2026. You've started seeing this massive gains. I mean, what was MSRP back then, right? It was probably 119, correct me if I'm wrong, and now it's 899. Almost 8 times your investment. It did almost nothing for a period of four and something years, and then in the latter period, it started moving up a lot, and that's where patience pays off. You could have been extremely angry with the product, and you probably sold it at 300. You could have sold it at 400 or even 500 over here, and then bam, 800. Even selling now, it's not. I wouldn't say it's a bad time. You should lock in your gains and put it in an investment somewhere. But given that we're still expecting news of the 30th anniversary, I do expect there's still some area for growth for this UPC. And when the news lands, that's when we'll see what happens. It may come down a bit or just keep on rising, because you have to understand, and it's probably something you can't imagine, but there's more Pokemon investors out there than you can imagine. And when the new 30th anniversary UPC comes out and they don't have the 25th anniversary, they want to master all the UPCs. And if they have a 30th anniversary UPC, they will want to get the 25th anniversary. So supply will come in, especially if the 30th anniversary is a very successful one. Okay, another one is the 151 UPC. I'm sure if you bought it at release, you would have gone through a roller coaster. This thing was 151 was printed to the ground. Okay, not literally to the ground, but it was highly printed. And this the price of the UPC was decreasing so much that you could have gotten it in many local stores. Probably in the US, people mentioned you can get it locally. You could have picked it up for a very cheap price. Okay, and that's where patience comes in again. You could have given up on the product and sold it already, maybe at cost or at a loss. And now see what the price is, 512. I mean, just 3 months ago, it's increased by 36%, 6 months ago, 52%, and a year ago, it's increased by 267%. From 139 last September till now, 512, increased by 267%. Now, isn't that just ridiculous? This just shows patience. If you bought it at, cost when it first released and you wanted to flip it in a month, I mean, you probably got a little gains given the initial hype. But then you probably would have, if you didn't have enough patience, when that dip came, you probably lost hope in it and sold it, and you wouldn't have experienced this gain over here. Similarly with Charizard UPC, another good example. I'm just using UPCs as an example over here, but this patience really broadens up to a lot of things. To sealed products, even singles and graded cards. Sometimes patience just pays off in most cases. Look at this Charizard UPC. 1 year ago, it was sitting at 153. I don't know if you recall, when it was first released, it was super hyped up. It was like 150, 200, people were even buying it for 220 or 250. And then Pokemon just printed this thing to the ground. Okay, again, I say to the ground, it's just meaning they just printed a lot. And then this thing was, you could pick it up at stores for $80, $90, even lower. Maybe on Black Friday deals, you could have gotten it at a much cheaper price. And say you bought it upon release at cost, and you see it dropping, not doing anything. Again, without patience, you would have sold it already. But check the price right now, $370, and there's 2 sales for $394. So I won't be surprised if this thing breaks 400 and 500 by the end of the year. There's three main factors, and I've mentioned it in one of my previous videos. one factor is Sword and Shield products are just increasing like crazy. Second, you got 3 amazing promo cards that is exclusive in this UPC. And all 3 have been seeing gains in the past couple of months. Especially the V-Star one. That's just a really great card. Awesome artwork. And then lastly is the Mega Charizard UPC that's about to be launched in November. Again, going back to Master Set, whenever a new UPC comes out featuring a particular Pokemon, people want to get the OG of it, especially for collectors out there. They want, oh, a Mega Charizard UPC. What was the previous one? Let me go get that one. And that will create a lot of demand for this UPC. And let's not forget, Charizard is one of the most popular Pokemons out there. Could even be featured as the most popular Pokemon out there. It's a Gen 1 starter, number 6 on the Pokédex. Fire Lizard, whatever you want to call it. Extremely popular. It's also my favorite Pokemon. And Phantasmal Flames, that's also being released on November. That will just add to the attention to Charizard. I mean, look at Obsidian Flames. The SIR is starting to increase right now. So crazy. Looks like attention is coming back to Charizard, especially after this Evolutions hype. This goes in cycles, okay? And Evolving Skies, let's talk about patience. You could have, have a box of Evolving Skies when you got it. If you didn't have patience and discipline of holding on to your sealed products, you would have opened all these packs, and you would have gotten, if you're lucky, maybe you opened the Umbreon. If you weren't, you opened trash like me. And back then I didn't have any patience. I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna buy a booster box, I'm gonna pull the chase card and make some gains. How did it work out? I pulled nonsense, rubbish. Not only did I not make back the cost price of a box, I've lost the opportunity to keep probably one of the most successful modern sealed investment, and that is this Evolving Skies booster box. $22,452 at the moment. 1 year ago it was $684, 258% gain. MSRP, what's this, 120 back in the days, maybe 140. How much did it grow? Imagine I kept all my Evolving Skies booster boxes that I didn't open back then, and I kept it till now. That would have been gains. Again, goes back to patience and discipline. Now, all that thing about patience and discipline, how do we apply that on products right now? Because we can go hindsight 2020 and talk about all the past. What can we do right now? And what is my strategy? I'm going to apply the same discipline and patience to existing products right now. And one that I'm keeping an eye on is this Prismatic Evolutions SPC. Prismatic Evolutions is a very successful set. Very popular, and that is probably why Pokemon is printing so much of it to meet demand. Right now, this box is going for $225. Okay, there's 2 sold for $249. Most people will probably say, okay, you know what, the MSRP, if they got to that $90 or $100, they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna make two times gains. I'm gonna sell it. Spent 100, sell it for 200, made $100. Great. But you have to look at the underlying potential of this. To not sell it at the very, very, very top, but at least unlock the majority of its potential. If you can unlock 80% of its potential, I think you would have made the right decision. What do I think will happen with Prismatic Evolutions SPC is after the reprint cycle, so let's wait 2 or 3 years. Let's make it 3 years, just to be conservative. It launched in January this year, so let's call it 3 years. 3 years from now, 2028, January. when reprints are probably going to be done with Prismatic Evolutions, that is when we will see massive gains for this SBC. So 3 years, wait for a couple of months for the market to realize, oh, this is no longer in print. And this thing will just go up a lot. I'm expecting in 3 years' time, this product would probably hit $500, conservatively. $500. And on the high end, it might even hit $1,000. Again, not financial advice. This is just what I'm thinking. Yes, I do hold this SBC. And my expectation for this product is $500 at least in around three months' time. And in 5 years' time, I'm thinking it's at least going to be $1,000 for each SBC. And that's my expectation. That's from now. Let's go 5 years' time. This would increase by 5 times. Okay, so $200 box, it's going to become $1,000 box, which is not a bad return. Obviously here you could do much better gains in singles, graded cards, etc, etc. But for me, I want to be lazy about it. You know, I don't want to do daily lookup of cards. Investing should be laid back. It should be more passive. You shouldn't be putting too much energy into it. And yeah, so optimize the risk return ratio over here. And this is one of the products where I think the risk return ratio makes sense. The return makes the risk worth it. And in 5 years' time, I do see this as a $1,000 box, and that's what I'm looking out for. Okay, this video has gone on for quite a bit, and I hope that point has been made. Patience and discipline pays off. Okay, catch you next one.